Hello everyone, back to today's second video. So we're in the 5-day forecast. You can find the video chat here on the homepage. Just scroll down the page a little bit and it's above the snow desk. So we're going to have another northerly shock coming up over the weekend and it's going to get quite cold again. Will be night frost in the north. There might even be some winter showers over the weekend. I'll let you have a look at the 5-day forecast and see what you think of that. Also, written version gets out from buttons at the top of the page. This second video is going to extend out beyond the 5-day forecast period. We're going to go sort of 7 to 10 days away, which takes you to the second half of November, of course. At the end of the video, I've got some very, very interesting news about some new long-range models that we are now allowed to access. They've been restricted for many years, but now they are being put online so that anybody can see them. Will be able to include them in the videos as well, and I'll talk you through what's happened, the announcement that was issued last night. I'll talk you through all of the detail later on at the end of the video. But start off with the weather for the next week, 10 days, starting off with the GFS ensembles. We're looking at Salford in the northwest of England today. The red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Salford, and we can see that at the moment we're quite cool. We're going to go a bit mild, a bit up and down really actually over the next 2 or 3 days. So warmer sectors alternating with colder sectors. This is a cold northerly that's coming up over the weekend. If you want to know more about that, check out the 5-day forecast. But the winds are going to get into the north. We're going to bring Arctic air down across the country, night frost, potentially for the north, winter showers returning. Now, beyond that, this is prepared into next week, where it's turning a bit milder for the early part of next week, then possibly another little cool down there through the middle of next week. Then we're into the extended range of the GFS into the second half of November, this period just here. And what we see then is that a lot of scatter, but overall still trending pretty much on the cool side. So I think we can say what we've been saying over the past few days. The weather going into the second half of November is looking cool, and it's looking quite changeable as well. In fact, the rainfall spikes are returning, so reasonable amount of dry weather the next couple of days, but going to bring wet weather down across the country Friday into Saturday, and then next week we've got rainfall spikes coming through as well. So it's a cool and changeable outlook going into the second half of November. Quite seasonal. These are the surface temperature and air pressure GFS ensembles again for Salford. So starting off quite cool today, or even cold, and temperatures at 10 degrees Celsius. Milder tomorrow. We're going to around 12 or 13. And then after that, well, we begin to see those temperatures sliding down. So we get through to the weekend, and we're barely, on Sunday, we're struggling to get above 5 degrees. But then into next week, for a time, it turns a bit milder before probably a cooling trend starting to appear then as we're going into the second half of November. Night frost, minimum temperature, so no real problems with night frost and the minimum temperatures for the next few nights. This is 0 degrees just here. Over weekend, the risk of frost is increasing, but then we're losing the frost risk early next week. But after that, probably an increasing risk of frost again as we're going through into the second half of November. So the idea is still there. It's been there several days now, that the second half of November is likely to be A, quite cool, even cold at times perhaps, and B, fairly changeable as well. This would be air pressure for Salford, starting off relatively high at around 1,025 millibars. Low pressure coming in at the end of the week. So that low pressure is going to take us into the weekend. So Friday to Saturday, we learn pressure. Then the pressure recovers a bit over the second half of the weekend and start of next week. The trend doesn't go into the second half of November. It's a little bit different to what I've had the past few days, possibly trending downwards. So I think we're likely in the second half of November to see a trough of low pressure developing close to the country, and that trough could be the trigger to start bringing down some colder air again into the second half of the month. Temperature anomalies are looking like this from the 8th to the 16th of November. Very, very close to average. Northern parts of the country a little bit cooler than average. Southern parts of the country still holding up a little bit. Milder than average. I'm quite dubious about that. I think the anomaly for the week ahead is going to be, if anything, on the cooler than average side. Very warm temperature anomalies across eastern and southeastern parts of Europe. You'll notice precipitation anomalies are looking like this. So drier than average still for the week from the 8th to the 16th of November. I've been expecting these to go cooler and wetter this week. So far, they're still holding up just about on the drier, excuse me, on the drier than average side. We'll see where they go into the second half of the week. Temperature anomalies in America look like this. Eastern parts of the states are coming out a little bit colder than average. Central and western parts of the states coming out warmer than average. Most parts of America away from the Pacific Northwest, where it is quite wet, coming out drier than average. Let's have a look at the GFS then for Sunday. This is coming in the 5-day forecast period, of course. So we've got these northerly winds coming down on Sunday. Will be a proper Arctic blow over the weekend. Doesn't last long. High pressure by Monday is collapsing into the country. That'll give us a cold start to Monday with a really harsh frost, but then by the time we go through to Tuesday, we'll start to bring a weather system in off the Atlantic. That'll bring cloud and rain and slightly milder air. We saw it on the ensembles, slightly milder air returning through the early part of next week. Into the middle of next week, turning increasingly unsettled with low pressure coming in from off the Atlantic. So this is our more unsettled spell of weather getting going into the second half of next week. Could be quite a bit of rain around. We're running up to day 10. This takes us to day 10, Saturday the 18th of November, where we've got quite a deep Atlantic storm there to the north of Scotland, 965 millibars. So maybe it's going to get stormy at the second half of next week with risk of gales or severe gales and more heavy rain driving in. Behind that, the wind is going to the northwest, so coming out of Greenland. Quite a strong and cold wind there starting to develop. And then if we go out beyond day 10, well, heights start to rise again up towards Greenland, and by the time we go through, we've got a long way out now. We're up to Wednesday 22nd of November, where low pressure is being squeezed down to the south, but heights are rising to our north with a blocking feature setting up there. And we're pulling in proper easterly, northeasterly winds, bitterly cold air starting to try and drive in from Scandinavia. So this idea that we really raise the heights over Greenland and the Arctic, it's still there within the GFS model. I have to say, it doesn't appear to be getting a lot closer. That's the only thing about this. Now, we are having quite a cold November anyway, or quite a cool November, and that is expected to continue into the second half of the month. We saw that on the ensembles. But to get this real cold weather, with the heights rising over Greenland, indicated by all of this yellow up here, and high pressure over there. That's a proper blocking area of high pressure. That's pushing the winds into the northeast. It's been showing up all week on the GFS extended range, but I'm not sure it's getting a lot closer. So at the moment, it seems as though day by day, whilst it's still there at the end of the extended GFS runs, it isn't being brought any further forwards, if you see what I mean, as we're getting what should be closer to it as each day goes by. Instead, it seems to be getting pushed back by a day or so every day. So I wouldn't rule out the possibility at all. It is still very much on the cards that this could happen. But as long as it stays within the sort of far reaches of the extended GFS, obviously there has to be a bit of doubt about it. In any case, we're doing quite well in terms of cool conditions at the moment. It's just whether we're going to drag in this really cold air from the east and the northeast in the second half of the month. Have to wait and see. ECMWF looks like this, so bring down this northerly shot again over weekend. It will be cold weekend, and in start of next week, expect risk of night frost and wintry showers potentially in the north. Now, through the middle part of next week, we keep more of an influence from high pressure. So whilst by Wednesday, the north is probably turning quite unsettled with some showery burst of rain, down in the south, we're still under this ridge. So even up to Wednesday, there could still be quite a bit of frost around down across southern parts of the country. And then as we go up into the extended part of the ECMWF, running up to day 10, we begin to find this high pressure trying to drift up towards Scandinavia. So that's how we finish up on day 10, which is Saturday the 18th of November. Quite an interesting chart, because we've got heights rising here over Scandinavia at day 10. Remember, at this point, the GFS is very stormy around the 17th, 18th of November. It's going for a proper Atlantic storm. The ECMWF doesn't show anything like that. It has the high pressure up over Scandinavia, has this low pressure out to the north and to the west of the country. Bit of a high pressure down here as well. What would happen after that is very speculative, but I would think this low pressure will probably go in that sort of direction. This ridge here will probably push northwards, and I would expect the high pressure over Scandinavia to strengthen. So the upshot, we could go out a day or two beyond day 10 with this run, would probably be to start to try and turn the winds into the north or the northeast. It is still all looking very, very interesting at the moment, even if there's nothing definitively very wintry showing. And of course, it's very early days to get something very wintry. Anyway, we're not even into winter yet. We're still in autumn in November. So for the time of year, which should be one of the more zonal, westerly dominated times of year, it is all looking really quite interesting. Now, I told you that we've had exciting news yesterday, so I'm going to take you to this website just here. This is the Copernicus website, and it's a new website that's been developed. I think it's partly in association with the ECMWF organisation. The European Union may be involved in this as well. And what they're going to start doing is putting online the seasonal models. Well, there's going to be a lot else going on this website, but what we're specifically interested in is the seasonal models for the ECMWF and also Meteo France long-range model. These models have been highly restricted access models for many years. We've heard rumours about them. Over the past year or so, I've been able to do interpretations of these seasonal ECMWF models that I've had a look at, but I haven't been able to show you the charts from the ECMWF seasonal model directly. I will be able to start doing that now from the Copernicus website, and also I'll be able to show you Meteo France. So this is the page that has all the seasonal charts on it. They're running 4 models. They're going to be running the C3S model. I'll talk about that in a moment. They're going to be showing the ECMWF seasonal model output. They're going to be showing the UK Met Office seasonal model output. That's not restricted. We've been able to see that at the UK Met Office website for a very long time. And also they're going to be showing Meteo France seasonal model output. And this model here, the C3S long-range model, that is a combination of those 3. So it's a combination, it's like an ensemble type model, if you like, a combination of the ECMWF long-range model, the UK Met Office long-range model, and the Meteo France long-range model. So I'll be able to start showing you all of these charts. They update every month. I'll be able to start showing you this on a regular basis in the long-range updates. For example, this is from last month. It's the ECMWF 5, it's the ECMWF temperature anomaly, I should say, for the winter. Sorry, I got a little bit confused with the charts I've loaded up. So this is the mean temperature anomaly from the ECMWF, Meteo France, and UK Met Office model. So this is the ensemble type model for all of those 3 long-range models, if you see what I mean. Going for a milder than average winter. This is covering the winter of 2017-18 with those 3 models. Now, this one I'm going to show you here. This is the 500 millibar height anomaly for the winter of 2017-18 from the ECMWF model. This used to be very, very highly restricted access stuff that wasn't widely available outside of Pro, Met, agencies and forecasters. And if anybody from the general public wanted to see this, you'd have to pay an awful lot of money to be able to access this stuff. Now it's all going online. It's all going to be freely available, and we can start showing you this in the videos every month. So the ECMWF last month, remember this is all from October, these ones haven't updated yet for November. ECMWF in October, the 500 millibar height anomaly for the winter was for lots and lots of high pressure to be dominating the weather. And then I can also show you Meteo France. This is the mean sea level pressure anomaly from the long-range French model, Meteo France, for the winter of 2017-18. This one seems to be going for a pattern anyway that would be conducive to a cold winter with lots of blocking around Greenland and Iceland, below average pressure across much of Central and Southern Europe, and you would assume the winds coming in from a north or northeasterly direction. I believe Meteo France is held in quite high esteem, as is the ECMWF long-range model, and as is our own UK Met Office Glow C5 long-range model, but we have been able to access. That hasn't been kept away from us for years and years, unlike these other two models. So that's what Meteo France is showing in terms of its mean sea level pressure anomaly for the winter of 2017-18, and it does look like it would be conducive to something cold. That's all from last month. These models will be updating in the next few days, and I'll be able to bring you the news of what these models are showing for the winter later on in November. So do keep a lookout. You can find the link to the Copernicus website on the links page, so you'll be able to see these charts for yourself if you would like to do that. But really excited. This is really a revolution for the forecasting community, because as I say, these models have been around for a very long time, particularly the ECMWF seasonal model, and for many years, probably 15 years, its access has been highly restricted. We've heard rumours about it on the forums and on social media, but never before has the general public been able to go to a website and access the actual charts of the long-range seasonal ECMWF. But from now on, we will be able to do that, and we'll be able to include them in the videos as well. So really exciting news for weather watchers and the weather community this was announced, I believe, yesterday. So, watch your space for news on what the ECMWF and Meteo France long-range season models are going to be showing for the winter when they update later this month. But come back to next week to 10 days, the main point of this video. So we're keeping it cool. We're going to have a cold snap over the weekend. Early next week, it's going to be pretty chilly as well. Excuse me, a moderate interlude through the middle of next week, and then later in November, still watching for the possibility of getting a blocking feature up across Greenland. Right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.